Hello everyone! Today on Vinky's Gaming Thoughts, I will continue the Canticle of Apotheosis. And it was a bit ill-boding last time we left off, so let's see what happens next. Andraste prepares to lay siege to Maferath. It's like the big battle coming up. The armies of the Maker marched to the heart of the Imperium. They looked upon those gates guarded by the juggernauts of old and despaired, for surely neither army nor god could oppose such might. So we've seen juggernaut armor, so it's probably a bunch of Vints clad in that type of armor which gave them that name. Or maybe that armor has that name because the Vints called themselves juggernauts wearing that armor. Whichever, it doesn't matter. Juggernauts all the same. Andraste's sermon to the armies. So Andraste said to her followers, "You who stand before the gates of Maferath, you who have followed me into the heart of evil of Tevinters, the fear of death is in your eyes." I don't know why, but for some reason, that song by Diana Krall pops into my head, The Look of Love, but like, the fear of death is in your eyes. Like, don't ask where these ideas come from. I have no idea, but that just popped into my head. And it is the Chant of Light, which is a song, but I don't think they had jazz in those days. Or maybe, who knows? Anyway, the fear of death is in your eyes. Sorry. Its hand upon your throat. So this makes me think of Death's hand from Jade Empire. Maybe a possible Easter egg. Raise your voices to the heavens. Remember, not alone do we stand on the field of battle. Something else that this makes me think of is Andraste is basically prepping her people up. She's motivating them like a boxer getting into a ring, ding ding, and she's motivating them. She's psyching them up for battle, and it makes me think of that scene in The Empire Strikes Back when Princess Leia, right before the Battle of Hoth, like she's giving her speech, and they're all standing there. They're about to like set off, and a lot of them, in this case, a lot of them know they're probably gonna die. It's the Vints, it's Maferath, but her speech is motivating them, and they are willing to die for the cause. They are willing to die for the Maker. And even if they know they'll die, they're hoping they can cheat death or at least kill, a handful of Vints before they themselves are killed. And then they're ready to charge. They're ready to charge in. And honestly, the most in fantasy history, in fantasy story and lore, the prepping for battle, the motivation, let's go to war scene buildup that I find the most epic, that gives me the most goosebumps, is actually that scene in Return of the King when Theoden does his speech to the Rohirrim with his speech, "Arise, arise, riders of Theoden." That scene is powerful. It's epic. They know that they're outnumbered, just like Andraste knows that the Vints outnumber them. And Theoden they're like shouting, they're riding, and they're just slaughtering those orcs, even if they die, even if so many of them die. And Andraste is doing the same thing here. She's motivating them for the Maker and their cause, for freedom, to free all the slaves. And for Shartan, the elven people, all this is worth the risk of death for freedom. And Andraste, this is why it's apotheosis. This is why Andraste was named Bride of the Maker. She was able to move her people. She was able to lead them to victory or to perish. She led them, and they believed in the Maker whom she spoke about. Whether he actually existed or not is another thing. See my video, 10 beings the Maker could be. But, So to continue, the Maker is with us. His light shall be our banner, and we shall bear it through the gates of that city and deliver it to our brothers and sisters awaiting their freedom within those walls. At last, the light shall shine upon all of creation, if we are only strong enough to carry it. That's some powerful speech right there, man. Now, here, know what happens. Freedom has a double meaning. Freedom for all the slaves, but also the Maker's light. Freedom, death towards the Maker's light. Seeing as many died and stuff like that. It could mean killing everyone who doesn't believe in the Maker, or killing the Vince and freeing them from their non-belief to lead them to the light of the Maker. It could have an ominous symbolism here too, but it's really mostly the literal sense, to free all the elves. And the armies of Andraste raised their voices, singing the hymn of praise to the Maker, and feared no more. She moved them, she really motivated them. And Andraste went apart to seek the Maker's wisdom for the battle to come. So like a meditation, which could actually be a clue that she was actually a mage. Whether she is Flemeth or not is another story. But this, I think, because she went apart, yes, we could argue she went to pray for the Maker, but also she went to channel her power. Let me know what you think. I think it's a clue about her being a mage, personally. Maferath delivers Andraste to Hessarian. Maferath went to his wife and said, "In the hills lies a silver pool where they say the voice of heaven can be heard most clearly." Silver pool. Similar to the Well of Sorrows? A hint of elven history in the chant, maybe removed? Voice or voices, like in the Well of Sorrow? From voices from the Fade, like in the Well of Sorrows? So maybe a sibling or a cousin well to the Well of Sorrows. Something very similar, something very powerful. Whether true or not, maybe it's a piece of elven lore that was removed from the chant. Does this mean that Andraste is linked to Mithal? If Andraste is Flemeth and Flemeth has Mithal within her at this time, no. Flemeth was betrayed before Mithal found her. Discard that. Let us go together to hear the Maker's will. Devious. Andraste went with Maferath and the Aegis to the silver pond, so Havard was with them. As she knelt in prayer, the servants of the Archon surrounded them, spears raised. Andraste drew her sword and pierced one man through the heart, but Maferath, with a blow from his axe, struck the blade from her hands. Betrayer. And it fell to the ground, and where it landed, tears welled from the land. So I think this means that Andraste was crying to realize her husband had betrayed her. Of course, one could argue she had betrayed him before if she did indeed have an affair with Chant. Although, if he became distant to her because of his anger towards the Maker, then she would be comforted by a gentle elf. We don't know how much time was spent between each event and how long this truly took. It's written as though in real time, but it's not written in real time. And we don't know if Andraste's husband Maferath, if it was an arranged marriage, like in Orlais, like Vivian herself, she was married, but she had a lover who was also married, and she got along well with her husband's wife, who also had a lover. His husband had a lover. This is the world of Dragon Age. So the marriages and the lovers were kind of like separate things. So I don't think Andraste, if she did have a lover, I don't think that would be much of a betrayal, seeing as it was the norm. It's the norm to take on a lover. I still think they could have resolved the relationship issues without betraying each other, without war and stuff like that. And without involving the Tevinter Imperium, But this betrayal is what links Andraste and Flemeth, because Flemeth mentions that she too was betrayed, like Mythal was betrayed. And remembering the theories, maybe this is the betrayal. We don't know exactly too many details. From what we know of Flemeth's betrayal, it could very well be this. The Aegis faltered. His hand could not draw against his own lord, but neither could it be stayed, as his prophet was betrayed. So Havard is stuck in the middle. Oh no, what's up with all these pop songs? Anyway, Havard is stuck in the middle. And he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't want to betray either of them. Unarmed, he stood between Andraste and the Tevinters. A spear pierced his chest twice, 2 times, and he fell. So Havard was caught in the middle, and he hesitated, and he was stabbed. He was killed because he couldn't choose a side. Moral of the story: don't get caught in the middle of a relationship war. Or choose a side. Or of any war. Choose a side. This also applies for reality TV. If you play the middle for too long, you get attacked from both sides. At some point, you have to stop playing the middle. You have to choose a side. With neither blade nor shield, Andraste gave herself up to her enemies. Which was the goal. And Maferath bound his wife's hands and delivered her to the Archon to be put to death. Unless he feels remorse later on, I continue to believe that he truly did not love her. So it was a loveless marriage, which leads me to believe that she actually did have an affair, and maybe he did too. And like I said, this is Thedas. It's the norm. It's the norm to take on lovers and stuff like that. But it would be less complicated if they married their lovers. And that's where I'm going to end this for today, with Andraste's binding and capture. So we will continue the Canticle of Apotheosis in the next video. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. You can hit the bell icon to receive notifications. And you can follow me on Twitter at BinkyProd. And I'll see you all soon. Masaranas. Be sure to check out some of my other stuff. And remember to buy video games at a discounted price and support me at no additional cost to you. Just follow my G2A affiliate link. To learn more how that can help you as well, you can watch my full explanation video on that. Thanks for tuning in.